Hello, everybody. How are you? Hello, hello. When you're here, say hi. It is Wednesday at 5. Rita's live at 5. For those of you who don't know, I go live weekly at 5 o'clock every day, and I'm getting messages from people saying, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. So I go live at 5 every day. For some reason, Facebook never likes to tell me when people are here. So if you can message and say hi, that'll be great. But I'm really excited for our topic today because today we're talking about being the CEO, right? And what that really means and how you do it in a way that gets big results for your business. Now, one question that I want to ask people, right? Hi, Carmen. Hello. I'm just going to say hi to everybody here. One thing that I want to ask people who are joining and hopping on, and again, when you come on, say hi, is what does it mean to you to be the CEO of your business? Now, when I ask these questions, right, I get all kinds of responses, and I'll tell you my different feelings about it over the trajectory of building my own business, right? Hi, Diane. Hi. But when I ask people, what does it mean to you to be the CEO? I get everything from like super corporate answers to I think CEO is a silly term for solopreneurs or entrepreneurs. I think that everybody should stop using it. It's just a buzz phrase, right? And then everything between. So I am curious for all of you, what does it mean to be the CEO? And how do you feel you're doing that right now, right? So I'd love for you to answer that in the comments. Go ahead and type them below. But we're talking about this for a couple of reasons. One is you all have seen me. It's no surprise. I'm marketing for my mastermind, right? My mastermind is called the Six Figure CEO Mastermind. So I've gotten a lot of questions about, well, what does that mean, the CEO Mastermind, right? Like, what does that mean? And so I've been telling people, well, you know, this whole program, the whole point of it is to get you to step into the shoes of being a CEO, which is where I'm getting all the reactions about the phrase CEO, right? So really being the CEO of your business means kind of moving out of the employee role. So most of us are service providers. So we provide the service, and I don't mean you're going to ever completely step out. You might, right? But that's not what I'm talking about. You might always want to be the service provider of your business. But for a good portion of the time, you're going to have to wear the CEO hat in your business, right? And so I think it is more than a title or more than just a structure of a corporation. I think it really is a mindset, and that's what I want to talk about today. So how many of you, like, I'm curious, what's something you're working on in your business in 2020? So go ahead and just kind of like put that in the comments below. Like, what are some things that you're doing to grow your business in 2020? I would really love to know. So even if you're watching on replay, go ahead, type that in the comments. And again, right, I'm going to do another little happy face because Facebook has been getting on my nerves lately. I mean, I love you, Facebook. If you're listening to me, please don't stop my Facebook Live video. But Facebook's been getting on my nerves a little bit lately because it's not showing me people who log on to Facebook Live. It's not showing me that people are commenting. So if you can just comment, that'll help me see if you're here and all of that. But tell me, what ways are you growing your business? Like, what are you doing to grow your business? Are you using social media? Are you sending newsletters? Are you speaking? Are you, tell me, networking? Tell me all of the ways, like Facebook ads, whatever it is. Tell me all of the ways that you are growing your business. So again, even on replay, I'm going to come back. I'm going to check the comments. I'm going to look. But when people ask me, people come, so I'm contacted all the time, right, by people who think that they might want business coaching or who are frustrated that their business isn't growing the way that they want. And the main thing, I mean, at the end of the day, here's the frustration. People want consistent clients and they want consistent cash, right? People want consistency in their business. Yes, is that you, or do you have it? Is that something that you're looking for? Like, I would love to know. Put that in the comments, right? But people are looking at the end of the day, they want consistent cash and they want consistent clients and they kind of want the freedom and the flexibility. I mean, these are all highly used words in the coaching industry, right? Consistent clients, cash, revenue, freedom. But because it's real, right? Like, I mean, I'm not going to try to be cute and come up with other words for what people want. People want flexibility. People want freedom. People want money, right? And people want the clients that make all of that happen, because at the end of the day, we also want to provide our service, right? So tell me also, what kind of business do you have? So in the comments, tell me about your business. Tell me if you're still trying to get to a place of having consistent clients, consistent cash, consistent revenue. Are you working the hours you want to work or not? Whatever you want to tell me about your business, it will help me give you all of the right information today, right? But let me know that. And then tell me also, what are some of the ways that you are growing your business this year? So people ask me, when I've been doing these calls, right? I have three, maybe four open spots for the Six Figure CEO Mastermind, which you guys have seen posts about. And I've been having these phone calls. And again, that's the reason people are curious about the mastermind. They're like, will this help me get consistent results in my business? Oh, hey, Jennifer girl, what's up? Jennifer says social media management, building, meeting people through networking and Facebook outreach. So you're doing like, I consider well, I guess it depends, Jennifer, on what you mean by outreach, right? Through Facebook. But so you're doing some social media marketing stuff, and you're also doing like networking, relationship building stuff. Okay, got it. So in these calls that I've been having for the open spots for the Six Figure CEO Mastermind, everybody's like, Rita, I need to know, is this going to get me consistent clients and cash and, all of that? And I said, well, I mean, it's not going to get it for you, right? Like, it's not like you just sign up for this program and then all your problems are solved because you signed up for a program, right? Like it helps people get it. But when people are having the conversation with me on these calls about, well, how? And so as I dig in right to these calls with people, I'm noticing very quickly why they're blocked at reaching their revenue goal, whether that revenue goal is $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000, or whether the goal is to get a speaking engagement, or whether the goal is to hit a certain client number. Like, I'm noticing why people aren't hitting these goals. Now, I did a podcast episode this week as well. How many of you, and if you're watching on replay, let me know, listen to my podcast? And if you do, have you listened to the episode that came out on Tuesday? So that episode is about everything I didn't do to hit $20,000 months in my business. And it says a lot of the same things, but in a lot more detail in terms of like things to do specifically. So you're going to get the general idea here. If you want like real detailed information, head over to the Rita Made Me Do It Show podcast, download that, listen to it's episode 22, okay? But anyway, so all of these people that are calling and registering for the Six Figure CEO Mastermind, it's slightly different than the way I work with private clients. When I work with private clients, I'm doing everything really. I'm doing their mindset, I'm doing their strategy, and it's a lot of intense one-on-one stuff, and they have access to me at any time that they want. And I'm reviewing posts and I'm editing and I'm copywriting, I'm doing all of that, right? But when it comes to this mastermind, the entire point of it, yes, I'm still giving private coaching. Yes, there's group coaching. Yes, there's strategy. I'm still available to people to help them grow their business, right? But the big difference is this mindset piece of stepping into the shoes of the CEO of your business. That's why it's called the Six Figure CEO Mastermind, right? And so it's like, what does that mean? So people are asking me on the call, will this mastermind get me consistent clients, consistent cash, and freedom? And also, what does it really mean to be the CEO of your business, right? So I wanted to come to you today to talk about that. And the way that I kind of tell people is just tell people how I first got started and how I, grew my successful first business. Now, again, I see y'all listening. I see you all watching, and I would love for this to be participatory today. So type about your business. Tell me about your business in the comments. Tell me if you're at the revenue goal that you want, if it's consistent. Tell me if it's not. Tell me what you're doing like Jennifer did, like Jennifer Huddleston Kelly did to grow your business. Let me know the things that you're doing, right, to grow your business. And tell me what you think it means to you to be the CEO. So whatever one of those questions you want to answer, like answer them in the comments, right? But so for those of you who don't know, because it was really fun, it's funny because I share my story all the time, but I don't always share my story here. And there are new members that come in and out like every day, right? So for those of you who don't know, I used to be a business attorney. I worked as a business attorney for like 13 years. I'm not going to go into the whole story. I worked as a business attorney for 13 years and then became a dating coach. But, right, the part that people focus on when I tell my story is I was an attorney, I quit my life as a lawyer, I became a dating coach, and within 3 months, I had surpassed my attorney salary, right, as a dating coach. So people focus on that, and they're just like, wow, well, if Rita surpassed her income in 3 months, and I'm over here, and it's been 8 months for me, or it's been 6 months for me, like, what am I doing wrong? And so I really want to clarify this piece, right? I have to highlight this piece, and I share it in my story all the time. People just gloss over it. So yes, I was an attorney for 13 years, and yes, I quit it and became a dating coach, and then surpassed my attorney salary in just 3 technical months of being in business, right? For my incorporation of my business. However, I had been running a singles group in the DC area I started it in 2006, so for about 8 years, for about 6 to 8 years. Well, I went part-time with date coaching, so before I went full-time. So, but we'll go to full-time. 8 years before going full-time as a date coach, right? I had been running that singles group in DC. Now, 6 years when you look at part-time, okay? So people say, cool, 3 months. Guys, all right, I'm just like putting it out there again. I had been running the singles group for 6 years before even going part-time in my date coaching business. Now, that wasn't a business, and it was never meant to turn me into a date coach. That was a hobby. But here's what was going on in the singles group, right? The singles group that I ran grew to be the #1 singles group in the DC area. Even though it was not the largest, it was still rated the #1 singles group for like 5 or 6 years, or for 5 or 6, for 2 or 3 of the 5 or 6 years, right, that we were on. And it's still around. I just don't run it personally anymore. But right, that's because we had over 5,000 active members. We were up to like 30 events a month. I had like 8 assistant organizers. I mean, we were in the media all the time. We were in the Washington Post. We were in WTOP. We were everywhere, right? With the connection. I mean, we were all over in the local area because of everything that we did, and just the fact that we were one of the only singles groups catering to the suburbs, right? So that group grew, and that's why, right? Because I had this community of people that built trust. I had built trust with, that were loyal to me, that knew me, that liked me, that trusted me from running that group, that when I made the transition to date coaching, that was just like a logical step for them. And they already trusted me, and they already kind of looked at me as like somebody that was facilitating their dating life. And so it wasn't that far of a leap for them to want to work with me, and they were kind of with me along for the ride, right? So I just say that before I go into the rest to clarify that, yes, right? Don't focus only on the piece of I surpassed my attorney salary in 3 months. Focus on the piece that, yes, technically true, but it happened because I had been leading a community of singles for like 6 years, y'all, right? But how did that group, the reason I bring up the group is to talk about how did that group grow to the #1 singles group? Why was it getting all this publicity? Why did it have engaged and active members? Why were they loyal? Why were they willing to just like hire me or buy my products or my services the minute I went into business, right? And it was because of how I ran that group. And the way that I ran that group was under a philosophy that I had called the one thing philosophy. All right. And here's what I mean by the one thing philosophy. Okay. There is nothing more that I love than focusing on one thing and going all in on that thing. Obviously, we're called the all-in entrepreneur, right? So whether that's a goal, whether that's a strategy, or both, actually, right? A goal and a strategy. That's what I love doing, right? I love going all in on one thing. So when I talk to these people that I've been on the phone with, right, here's what I'm hearing. What are you trying to do in your business, right? You say you're not getting consistent cash, you're not getting consistent clients. what are you doing in your business? And they're like, well, I am trying to get private one-on-one clients. I'm trying to create a course. I'm trying to get a group going. I'm trying to run events. I'm trying to do a workshop. I'm trying to offer intensives. I'm trying to do a retreat. I'm trying to, and I'm like, oh, cool. You're doing all of that at different times? And they're like, no, like I'm trying to do it all. And I'm trying to do it all right now, right? And I'm like, okay. And also like, what goals are you working towards? Well, I would like to sign X clients and I'd like to get a couple of speaking engagements and I'd really like to grow my Facebook group and I'd like to, right? Do you start seeing like what's happening, right? They are doing so many things, like they're doing so much that not any one thing can really get traction, right? To have like these big meaningful results. Maybe some of the things are getting a little bit of traction, but right, not any one thing is getting like the great big Charlie Brown pumpkin kind of result, because they have a very hard time mentally of going all in on one thing. How many of you feel like that? Like you know it, like own it if you know it's you, that you right now are doing too many things to grow your business and you're not focusing in on any one thing, right? And you kind of even know that it's because you're a little afraid to really go all in on one thing, right? So the reason on my singles group, and you can tell me all this in the comments. Again, hi Holly, hi Jennifer, if you're joining, hi Heather and other Jennifer. If you're just joining, I'd love to know what you're doing to grow your business, right? That's something I'd love to know, what you're doing to grow your business right now. All the things, right, if you want to share. And I'd also love to know what it means to you to be the CEO of your business. Like, what does that mean? Because I was sharing earlier that as I interview people for spots in my mastermind group, Six Figure CEO Mastermind, right? People are telling me everything from like super corporate answers to, that's a silly term. I don't think that solopreneurs should use the word CEO. And then there are like a million things between. So I'm really curious what your thoughts are about what it means to you to be the CEO. But back to my singles group, right? So the singles group was on meetup.com. That was the only place the singles group was. It still is, right? That's the only place that the singles group was. One platform, one site, meetup.com, because I had one goal, right? One big goal. And the big goal was to create relationships, right? So I wanted other singles in the suburbs to meet other singles in the suburbs, right? Hi, I feel like I should have puppets. Hello, hello. Not for dating, right? Not for, I mean, although that happened, but that was not the sole purpose of the group. The purpose of the group was, and I'm pulling up a few things right here so I can remember to tell you some stuff. The purpose of the group was to make friends with other singles that happen to live in the suburbs, right? It was just a community for friendship, and yes, dating happened, but that wasn't like the number one thing. We weren't doing like lock and key parties or speed dating or anything like that, right? We're going to Wolf Trap and we're listening to concerts and going out to dinner. And so I knew, right, that I could post about this group a million different places, but I just said one place, meetup.com. Right? And then I knew that in person, right, was the best way to build relationships. And so I knew that events were going to be the way to do it. So I went all in on planning tons of events and posting them and running them and doing everything that needed to be done in that way, right, for the group. And here's the thing, like I did it consistently, right? So I even shared, I'm going to share something right now, right, that I shared in the group earlier, where when people go, gosh, Rita, that singles group was the reason you were able to surpass your attorney salary when you started, right? Like when I quit my corporate job and went to this business, went to date coaching, 3 months is all it took to surpass my corporate salary. But it was because I ran the singles group for 6 years. So it's not just 3 months. It's like 3 months technically because of the 6 years that I put in unknowingly, right, running this singles group that was a hobby. And so people are like, how did you build such a loyal community? So I created a list, right, that I shared it in the group. I said, look, I was visible all of the time. I mean, there were 30 some events in that group. We also had a month, right? We also had a discussion forum, and I was posting in the discussion forum all the time, commenting on people who posted and also starting my own discussions. I was emailing the members, even if we didn't have an event. I would have a reason multiple times a week, right? So they were getting emails about the events, but they were also getting emails from me about like, hey, we're going to have a town hall meeting, or hey, like, what would you love to see more of in this group? Or like, hey, I have this idea. What are you guys thinking about, right? So I was in constant communication. I also had some events that were just town hall meetings where they could come and they could sit with me and they could just tell me in person what they wanted in the group. I went to all of the meetups, right? So it's like I was visible all of the time. I scheduled consistent events, right? I started not with 30. I started with just 2 events a month. It was like an orientation, like a happy hour kind of thing, and like a lunch. It was a happy hour, lunch. Those were my 2 things. And I made them like the same time, like not the same place, but like the same day of the month and the same time. And I did that just for a couple of months, right? So that people knew that I was consistent. And that allowed me to be consistent because I wasn't overburdening myself, right? One thing that I see that keeps people from being consistent is what we were just talking about at the beginning, right? They're doing too much. And so when they're doing too much, they can't really be consistent in a real, meaningful way with any one thing because it's easy for things to fall through the cracks, right? And so I was running those events at first very like super consistently. And I wanted to add more in, right? Because it was like slow growth of the meetup group. Well, slow looking back. 100 people joined in the first month, right? Not all active, but 100 people joined in the first month, and it grew. But like looking back, it could have grown quicker, right? Like, and I felt in the moment, I felt like it could grow quicker. So Rita wanted to add more events because I thought, well, that will make the group grow quicker, right? So I had 2 events, but boy, if I put 10 events on the calendar, right, then I'll get more members, right? But I had to, right? Even though that wasn't a business, this falls under the CEO mentality. Part of what I had to do to make that singles group great is throw out those ideas. No, right? I need to be consistent with just these for a while, build traction, build the trust, build the whatever, and do it, right? I held the events even if 0 people RSVP'd. This is very important. This is important in the online world too, webinars and Facebook Lives and all of that, right? I know so many people, and if this is you, I would love to know. You can message me, or you can be brave and put it in the comments, right? Be brave and put it in the comments. But I know so many people that like set up a webinar to do or Facebook Live, and if no one joins, they don't do it. They wait a few minutes, and if nobody joins the Facebook Live, they shut the Facebook Live down. Or they do a webinar, they'll set up a webinar, and if nobody registers, they won't run it. Or if people register but then don't show up for it, right? Live, like they don't run it. And if that's ever been you, like no judgment on that, right? It's common, people do this, right? But with my singles group, I didn't do that, right? I would go to the event. If I had a coffee at a coffee house for the singles and nobody RSVP'd, I still went to the coffee house all by myself, and I sat there and I drank my coffee and I would read a book, or I would talk to people around me or whatever. It always ended up that I was supposed to be there for something, right? But I would share photos of it. I would talk about the place. I would say, I hope you can join me next time, right? If there was a happy hour and nobody joined me, I sat at the bar. I talked to the bartender, right? Like I took photos of the place. I said, I hope you can join me next time. Like I was consistent with not only how I scheduled the events, but running the events, right? Regardless of if 0 or 100 people showed up, I treated all of the events the same because I wanted my members to know that I was dependable, and I wanted them to know that I was reliable, right? Do you guys see like that, right? And so I was consistent not only in what I did to show up for them, but how I showed up for them. It didn't matter if I had a crappy day at work that day. It didn't matter if I was sick. It didn't matter. It didn't matter, right? I showed up and I put on the Rita like, oh my God, because I was really genuinely excited to see them, right? Now, yes, maybe inside, like I was sad about something, but I didn't let that affect, right, the people who were coming to my events. Now, Holly says, I've had that happen, but I still recorded it. Yes, like you can use that for so many things, right? You still go through with a webinar. You still record it, right? Hi, Rebecca. And so then that's why the group took off quickly. I was consistent with the events that I planned, and you can equate this to the online world again, right? I was consistent with the events I planned. I was consistent in showing up, like physically for the events, but also in my energy and how I showed up. Anytime I sent an email, anytime I posted an event, anytime I was at an event, right? Anytime I had interaction in any way with any of the members of the Singles in the Suburbs group, I showed up consistently in the same energy in the same way, right? So all of that together, when you mix all of that in a pot, that's how I grew a loyal community. They could depend on me, they trusted me, right? So the group then really did grow quickly, right? The group like grew quickly. And as the group grew, guess what started to happen? Right? All the members wanted to see other things in the group. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wanted to see other things, right? So like the group was doing well, events on lockdown, organizers, how we showed up on lockdown, me on lockdown, it was great. It was a well-oiled machine, right? But like people were at that, it had just become a well-oiled machine, right? So at that stage, right when things start doing well, right, that's when people were like, oh, Rita, you should also start a Facebook group. This is when Facebook groups were new. Oh, Rita, you should also start a podcast. This is kind of when podcasts were kind of not new, but like trendy, right? Like you should start a podcast for singles in the suburbs. Rita, you should do it. I remember everybody told me I should do a membership, right? Like people should pay and there should be a membership card, and the membership card gets you like exclusive deals at local establishments, and there are different tiers and like all of this stuff, right? Oh, Rita, we should like add in this. Oh, Rita, we should add in that. Oh, Rita, we should start doing these kinds of events. Or Rita, we should like do that, right? Like, and it was very tempting. It was very tempting for me to want to do that stuff, right? And I even tried some of it. So I did dabble, I did try, I did like a membership card. I kind of started that like a little bit for free. I mean, I tried some of this. I started a Facebook group. I finally figured out how to close it out. Like it was a page, I think, not a group. But whatever, I tried some of this stuff. And I quickly realized that by doing that, it was gonna hurt the overall mission of my group. The overall mission of my group was to create community with these singles and do it in person, right? So they could meet, because it was a local group, do it in person. And so the best way to do that were events. The other stuff was taking away my time, my energy, my attention. It was changing how I showed up for the group. It was changing my consistency with the group. And it was just changing so much with the group, right? So I learned really quickly that if I tried to do all of this stuff, I wasn't gonna do any one thing well. It was gonna hurt the consistency of the other things that I was doing, right? And so I stopped it. I was like, no, Rita, get back to your one thing philosophy. Just do the one thing, right? So I went back to just running that meetup group full out with the best events. And because I did that, my only focus was meetup. That was the only platform the singles group was on. And events, that was the only way that I was going about reaching my goal of building relationships with these members, okay? Building relationships with these members. Because I did that, I mastered the art of event planning, and I mastered the art of relationship and community building, right? Which is why the group grew to over 6,000, I think, in its heyday, 5,000 or 6,000. I can't remember now, because now it's down to like 3,000. It's kind of an inactive group. I mean, getting married, we'll do that, right? But I have some assistant organizers that do some stuff for that group. But I was able to master something, right? And that's why, because I fully embrace that philosophy of, wait, I have one goal, one mission, to build relationships. The best way for me to do that. So notice like the pieces, right? I'm not telling you like the points, but I'm hoping you're picking up on the pieces, right? So I had one goal, the goal being to build relationships between the members of the meetup group, right? And I knew the best way to do that was through in-person connections, meaning events, right? So I went all in on events, learning all about events, planning events, testing events, seeing what event, tweaking the events, all of the events, all the things about the events to create the in-person connections, right? That allowed my group to prosper and to grow, right? So how can you use this for your business, right? Are any thoughts coming up into your head? Like, what do you already, like, have there been ahas already, even if this has nothing to do, like a meetup group and in person and all of that, with your business? I'm curious. I would love to know. Holly said people have suggested a membership to your program. Yeah, Holly, throw that out the window. I know you. Like, throw that out the window, right? You're not there. That's cool. Maybe in the future, one day, right? Like, you need the one day book. Like, one day I'll do this maybe, or just like, no. And if it comes back up later in the future in my mind, maybe I'll consider it then, right? But how can you use this for your business, right? Well, part of being a CEO, so let's cut there, right? While you share your answers, if you already have had any ahas from what I've shared, or how you can use the example that I painted about my singles group for what you could be doing in your business, right? To grow your business quicker, to reach your revenue goals. But we're going to insert something before I pick that back up, right? Which is this mindset of being the CEO, right? Now, people who are in the six-figure CEO mastermind know this. They hear it from me all the time. If you are going to join one of the 3 open spots of the six-figure CEO mastermind, you are going to hear this all of the time. But I think all of my members, and like Holly Shan is one, I think that all of my members will say that it's not just a kitschy thing, right? It's not just a cutesy thing, be the CEO. When I tell you to be the CEO in your business, I tell you how. And, right, the members who have done it and have stepped into the shoes of the CEO say they look at their business completely differently. They're making decisions differently. They're doing things they never thought they'd do, and they're getting results that they never thought that they would have, right? So why, right? Well, one of the main things of being the CEO of your business means making decisions that are in the best interest of your business and not in the best interest of you as a person, right? So how many of you do that well, or you don't do it well? I would love to know. Please share that in the comments, right? But so many people, solopreneur, entrepreneur, you know, like the same thing, but like different, right? When you're solo, but so many people are making decisions about their business from their personal emotions. They're making emotional-based decisions from their personal lives, as opposed to logical decisions from data for their business, right? Or what's in the best interest of their business. So that's one difference of a CEO mindset, making decisions that are in the best interest of your business, which may not be decisions that are in your best interest, right? So using my meetup group, the story I just shared as an example, you know, having consistent events was definitely in the best interest of that group. It was not always in the best interest of Rita to have like an event every week to go to, or 2 events to go. Sometimes Rita didn't want to go out. Sometimes Rita felt bad. Sometimes Rita was tired. Sometimes Rita just didn't want to talk to people. Sometimes Rita had a fight with her boyfriend and didn't really want to be out that day. Sometimes Rita would rather be home crying, watching like whatever sad show was on at the time, which is probably all the same shows that were still on right now. Rita didn't want to greet strangers and go up and shake hands with people she didn't know, believe it or not, right? Like Rita didn't want to do that all the time. Sometimes Rita just didn't want to show up, and Rita just didn't want to be energetic, and Rita just wanted to just not do any of that, right? That was what was in the best interest of Rita, right? But what was in the best interest of the group was showing up, being consistent, treating everybody the same, being warm, right? Like it was not in Rita's best interest to go to an event by herself, right? But I did it anyway because it was in the best interest of my business, right? So so that's one thing, right? It's like we make decisions from either a fear-based place, which is a personal place, right? So like, I'm afraid of scarcity. How many of you have made decisions in your business from a place of scarcity? When I started my business, I did, and I still get hit with bouts of it sometimes. Now, you know, cut to what, 6 years later or so, I'm able to move through those faster. I'm able to move through and do it anyway, right? But at the beginning, whoa, right? Like scarcity would like knock me to the ground and make me make terrible decisions. I was afraid to go all in on one thing, right? Because what if that thing didn't work, right? So although I did it for my singles group, that was easy. That wasn't a business. I wasn't trying to make money. Cut to date coaching, my first business, right? My first solo business. Well, technically not. I ran a law office. I don't count that though. That was different. But I did make decisions from a seriously scarcity-based mindset as a lawyer before I did any coaching or anything, right? Before I had my 35 dates in 35 days, before I ran the singles group, before I whatever, right? Whoa, talk about, that's why that law office, like I did well, but whoa, I skated by. And it was the help of other attorneys that helped me do that, because I was in a very, very scarcity-based mindset then. But you know, when I first started my date coaching business, I was scared to hone in on a target market, right? I wanted to help all singles in all ways do all things, right? I can't help all singles in all ways do all things. I mean, I could technically, but I can't do it well. It's the difference between being a general practitioner and being a specialist, right? A general practitioner is a little bit about every kind of ailment, just a little, enough to refer you to a specialist, so that when you have a specific ailment, you go to the specialist and they know all about that ailment, right? And you're willing to pay a specialist a lot more because they have a lot more knowledge about what you need, right? But I was scared to do that because I was in a scarcity-based mindset. I wanted private coaching and group coaching, and I even tried to create a digital product right out of the gate when I started my coaching practice, right? That it became very apparent that that was just a poor decision, right? And I went all in on just private coaching. But at the beginning, I was scared because what if I didn't get enough private clients? And what if I, you know, I needed this? And what if I couldn't do that? And what if, right? I wouldn't get on sales calls and ask for the sale because I was afraid of rejection, right? That's a personal decision. Rita didn't want to be rejected. My business was just a thing. It didn't care either way if people rejected it or not, right? But Rita did, right? You guys see what I'm saying? So like one of the mindset differences of like being an employee or being an employee in your own business and stepping into the shoes of a CEO is you have to learn how to make decisions from what's in the best interest of your business and not from a personal decision. The other place I see people do this with is money. I was talking to a potential client on the phone today, and we were talking about this, which is imagine like, because you have a vacation you want to go on, or because pretend you worked in a corporation, all right? So you're sitting in the offices of, I don't know, what's a big, like AT&T corporate, and you're sitting in there at AT&T corporate, and like you're thinking, gosh, I really want to go on this big vacation, right? So you like go to the sales team and you're like, sales team, we need to make more sales, right? Like even though you work in like, I don't know, procurement, right? Like you're like, sales team, I need you to step it up and make more sales because I need to go on a vacation. They would look at you like you had 8 heads, right? Like our sales in no way equate to you getting more money, Miss Salary person over there, right? Working in procurement. It's like, go on this vacation, right? Yet we do that with our business all the time. We demand of our business things from our personal money situation. It's like, oh my God, I don't have enough money for this, or I want money for that, or I feel like I'm not gonna have enough money to pay this. So now I need my business to ramp up and I need my business to do better. But then it's like, oh, I have plenty of money for all the things, money came in. Cool, now I can just, I'm not gonna really push my business hard, right? So we're making decisions about our business from a place of our personal financial stuff, right? Like that's, you got to stop that, right? Like, and that was a mistake that I made at the beginning of my business, right? That I learned very quickly not to make, although it was easier said than done, right? To step into that mindset. But once I did, boy, oh boy, did everything change. And that's where I was able to see going all in on one thing, right? And doing it well was the key. And it was scary because I had to make hard decisions to cut off a lot of the other things, right? So with date coaching, I went all in on private coaching only, right? Yeah, I tried to run a group at the beginning. You know, it was okay. I filled it. It wasn't great, right? And that's where I learned. So private coaching, right, was what I went all in on. And running the singles group was the number. So the meetup group kept going because that was the #1 way that I was getting clients for dating, right? So I had one way of working with people. I had like one type of person I was working with that I was really marketing to. I had one way of working with them, private coaching. I had one place that I was meeting them and nurturing relationships with them, right? And that was it. I didn't do anything else, right? Didn't do anything else. I mean, that's all I did to build that business, right? So when I became a business coach, I used the same philosophy. This time it was easy. I knew to do it, right? I knew that this business had to be built on the one thing philosophy, on the all-in philosophy, right? So the all-in philosophy for me was there is one way I want people to become aware that I exist. What is that way? Speaking. I wanted to go all in on speaking. That's how people became aware that my business existed, right? But then after people become aware of me, I needed to continue to build those relationships, right? Now, this is where a lot of people are doing a lot of different things. I mean, yes, to build awareness. When I tell people, what are you doing? In fact, I'm curious, if you're here, you're watching on replay, what are you doing right now to get people aware of your business? This is where people tell me speaking, networking, posting on Facebook, posting in Facebook, going to meet, like all of this stuff, right? They name a whole tweeting and Twittering and Instagramming and just all the things, right? Every place, LinkedIn and YouTube and doing Facebook Lives and like all this stuff, right? People are trying to do everything to get people to be aware of their business because all of that's true. Those are all ways to make people aware. But if you pick one way and you just focus on that and you go all in on it, right? And that requires that CEO mindset of making a hard decision to say no to all the other things, right? All the other things. But when you say no to all the other things and you say yes to one thing, you can be more consistent with it. It's way easier to be more consistent with networking when you're not also trying to run a Facebook group. And when, I mean, you know, like if that's your number one awareness rate, right? If you're not trying to also do all of this other stuff, right? Now, after people become aware of you, they need to be somewhere where you can build the relationship. So when I ask people, after people become aware of your business, where are they going? Where are you putting them? What pot are you putting them in so that you can continue to nurture that relationship with them, which is where most people go nowhere. I'm not really putting them anywhere. So that's like a different video for a different day, right? The other answer is everywhere. I'm telling them to follow me on Instagram and on Facebook, and I have a Facebook group, and I'm also like sending newsletters. So I ask them to be on my newsletter list, and then I've got like a business page, and then I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm like telling them to watch my weekly YouTube or my Facebook Live, and like I'm telling them to go to any of these places, right? Again, if you pick one way to nurture the relationship and you go all in on that way, you are going to have a much better response because you're going to master that way. So for me, speaking is the number one way that people become aware I exist, right? That means my focus isn't, people don't see me out networking that much. People are like, oh, Rita, you never go out to this group, you never network. Because I'm all in on speaking. I'm applying to speak, I'm meeting other speakers, I'm practicing my speaking, I'm applying to speak, I'm speaking, right? Like I'm looking for more speaking, I'm watching my speaking, I'm all in on speaking, right? And then after people become aware of me, guess where they go? Right here. This is my big bucket for nurturing relationships, the all-in entrepreneur, right? So this is where I direct everybody. And then from here, I can get people on my newsletter list. I can get people to watch a YouTube video. But this is where I get everybody because this is where I want to put my time and my energy and my attention to do things like this, to bring value, to meet you all, to know what you need, to nurture relationships, right? Are you seeing that? But because I do that, I can be super consistent. When people are like, Rita, how do you show up for your Facebook group all the time in all of these ways? You're doing videos and you're doing daily posts like clockwork, and you've got like 3 or 4 posts a day, and you're doing polls, and you're reaching out to members, and you're having connection calls, and how can you do this and do it so consistently? Because this is where I focus my time, my energy, and my attention, right? So it's easier to be consistent when you have less to do, and you will do it better, and you will get better results because your results are equivalent to the action that you take, right? You guys are super quiet today, and I'm super curious what's going on in those minds of yours. So please share some comments and some thoughts right below. So to put this like in perspective, I was working with a client, and I want to know truthfully from you guys, how many of you have said this before? I'm getting results, but I want better results. Right, Rita, so I started networking and I'm getting good results. Or I started doing Facebook Lives and I'm getting some traction. Or I decided to speak and I'm getting traction, right? Like people are signing up and I'm not really consistently at the level of income I want, but I'm getting people interested, and it's a good interest and it's feeling consistent. How many of you have felt like that before or like are there now, right? So I was talking to a client, and my client was frustrated because she wasn't getting to the next level. Right? She was at like, let's pretend this isn't the level she was at, but she was like around $5,000 a month. She was getting clients enough to generate about $5,000 in revenue a month. I think that's actually about right. But it wasn't consistent. Like when clients were signing wasn't consistent. How they were signing wasn't consistent. The $5,000 a month wasn't consistent. So she'd have some months of it and then some months without it. And then some months with it and then some months without it. Right? So like it wasn't consistent, but she was trying to get up closer to 10K, right? So she was like, Rita, I'm super frustrated because I can't break through. I just want to break through this $5,000 a month plateau. And I want to like, to her, it was a plateau, even though it wasn't consistent, right? But she wanted to get to the $10,000 a month mark. And so I said, well, what's happening? Like, what is making you upset about this, right? And so she said, well, I'm signing fewer clients than I wanted to sign. The clients that I am signing, they're only purchasing my lowest offering, right? So like, I'm not signing the number of clients that I want to sign. And that's what I think I need to do to get to the next level. The clients I am signing are only purchasing my lowest cost program, and that isn't going to get me to my next level. I am being asked to speak, Rita, she said. I'm being asked to speak, but for free. I'm not getting paid to speak, right? And I can't fill my group coaching program. So I have some group coaching programs, but I'm really struggling to fill them, right? It should be easier by now. And I think all of these things are keeping me from 10K. So if I could just have these better results, if I could sign more clients and they're buying the higher cost product or program, and I'm getting paid to speak and I'm filling my programs, I'll reach my next level of business, right? So I dug in with her with what she was doing to do those things, to get the clients, to get the speaking, right? To fill the group coaching programs, all of it. And what we found out was she was doing a lot, but she wasn't doing anything consistently. She was, I said, here are the things she was doing, but not consistently. I said, what are you doing? She's like, well, I'm networking, but not consistently. I'm following up, but not consistently, right? So what are all the things she wasn't doing consistently? Networking, following up, that nurturing of the relationship, right? People became aware of her, but she didn't have a bucket, one big bucket to put people in to nurture that relationship. So she wasn't networking consistently. She wasn't following up. She wasn't nurturing relationships consistently. She wasn't putting out content consistently. She was putting out content, but it was not like at a consistent time every day, right? There was no rhyme or reason to when the content was going to show up. She was emailing out for speaking engagements, but it wasn't consistent. It was kind of when she heard about something or something crossed her path, or she had time. She wasn't holding true to her pricing. So she told me that people were paying for her lowest cost offering, right? That's all that they were doing. And I found out she was not holding firm to her pricing for even that. Right? She would give discounts. She would be like, okay, well, I can do it for this or I can do it for that, right? She wasn't holding firm to her pricing consistently. She wasn't having sales conversations consistently. There was no rhyme or reason to the number of sales calls she had or when she had them. She wasn't even giving her current clients consistent time and attention, because some days were more busy than other days with other things. She didn't have a consistent schedule, and so she wasn't able to really allocate like specific blocks of time for client attention, right? So her energy level was all over the place. So she wasn't giving her clients like consistent time and attention. When she had a group, if she didn't fill the group coaching program, she would cancel it. So instead of running it and just doing it, she would cancel it. She was the girl that with a webinar, if nobody showed up, she wouldn't run the webinar, right? She was not doing mindset work daily. And like I said, she wasn't honoring her schedule consistently, right? So she was doing all of those things I just mentioned, but like sporadically here or there with no strategy, no rhyme or reason, not in the same energy, not consistently. Well, what did we learn from the story that I shared about my singles group, right? That was the first thing that started hurting my singles group, right? The most important thing is to show up consistently day in, day out with the same energy in the same way, so that your audience, your prospective clients, will build that loyalty with you, right? So I said, I don't even know where this phrase came from, but I said to her, you know, if you can't be trusted, like if you can't be trusted to be consistent with the small things, then why would God send you anything big? You're wanting bigger. You're wanting bigger results than you have. But why would those come if you can't even be consistent with tiny things? Why would God send you anything bigger, right? You're not showing that you can handle it. If the bigger things come, you can't show that you can stay consistent with that. Like you can't stay consistent with the little things. And she was like, boom, and everything changed, right? And so we switched her focus from first the outcomes to the action she was taking. And then we eliminated most of the action she was taking. We focused on one thing that she was selling, one way she was building awareness in her business, and one way, right, that she was nurturing relationships. And guess what? I even wrote down the results, right? She maxed out her, in 2 months, she maxed out her private client load. She signed more clients for her premium offering than ever before, and she was paid to speak to an audience of 232 people in 2 months from doing that, right? But it was scary, and it required her to step into that mindset of the CEO that I shared with you, right? Of making decisions that are in the best interest of your business and not decisions that are in the best interest of you. But that means knowing what's in the best interest of your business, meaning you have to know your business like a CEO, not like an artist and not like a creative and not like a service provider. You have to know your business like the CEO, meaning you have to have a different view of all of the different pieces of your business than you do when you are the service provider in your business, right? And so we had to work on that, right? So how many of you are like seeing something that you can do differently immediately in your business? Nobody's saying anything to me today. So I'm very sad. Like, I love it when you guys talk to me, right? And the minute I ask you guys to talk, I just see the numbers like dwindling out, going away, right? But guys, see this? Like, I'm here and I'm going all out on the Facebook Live, and I'm still doing it like I have a room full of 100 people, right? And I have one person in here right now. Whoever you are, thank you, right? Whoever you are, thank you for being here. But right now I have one person that Facebook is showing me is here, right? But I'm showing up. Like 100 people are in this room right now. And if it went down to 0, which it will, and it has a couple of times, nobody knows. I'm still showing up for it, right? My energy doesn't drop, nothing, right? So I was reading something once, and it said that if you really want to succeed, right? I can't remember what this, I really wish I could. I'm going to Google and find out. You need to show up every day consistently for 2 years. Every single day, consistently. Hi, Jennifer, you're the girl, you're here. Every day, consistently for 2 years. Every day. That's 730 days in a row to start seeing the results that you really, really, really want, right? You to get huge, big results, these big results that you all are wanting, you've got to show up every day consistently, right? For a minimum of 730 days in a row. How many of you can say you've done that? How many of you have done that? Yes? Right? Like people are like, ah. How many of you have done it for most of that time? How many have shown up every day consistently for a year? How many of you have shown up every day consistently for half a year? How many of you have shown up every day consistently for a month? How many of you have shown up every day consistently for a week? In all ways, with your energy, with your focus, with what you're talking about, with the place you're talking about, that all-in kind of thing, consistently every day, right? Most people can't say yes to any of those, right? But they're wanting bigger results. They're wanting bigger results than what they're getting, but they're not being consistent in any way, right? So when I dig in with people, when people come to me about their business and these big results that they want, I say, are you working towards one goal? Are you trying to divide your time between multiple endeavors? Are you trying to sell a group and do private and have workshops and have this and have that, right? You're dividing things, right? Are you standing firm in your strategy? So not only are you all in on one thing with your strategy, like we just talked about, but are you standing firm in it? Meaning you show up consistently for it no matter what, meaning no matter the results that you're seeing. Because it's very easy to say, you know what my strategy is? My strategy is I am gonna start a Facebook group and I'm going to post in it and nurture relationships. So you start this Facebook group and you post every day for 4 days and nobody's writing back. And you do it for 5 and nobody's writing back. And you do it for 6 and no one's writing back, and no one, you know, maybe a couple of people join the first few days, but nobody's joined the next days. And you maybe kind of do it. Now you're inconsistent in the second week. You posted, but you missed a day, but whatever. And then like by week 3, you're like, this isn't working. I need to go to something else. I need to do something else, right? And that's because we have this need for instant gratification. We expect, because of the internet, right? We think we should get instant results. That's why I shared with you, yeah, I surpassed my attorney salary in 3 months because I ran a singles group for 6 years, right? For 6 years before that, right? Like, it's never overnight. I don't care who's saying it is online. I don't care what they're saying. It is not. It is not. But we're comparing our journey to other people's journey, all of this stuff, right? But it's important that you stand firm in your strategy and you don't cut and run and you don't start going, oh, this isn't working, so I need to do this, or I'll keep doing this, but now we add back in all the things. So guess what? You're not consistent anymore with any one thing, because we've already discovered you can't be consistent with all the things. In fact, you can't master something by doing everything. The whole point of mastery is picking one thing and getting excellent at it, right? So I say, are they doing that? Are they staying firm in their strategy? Or are they getting in their own way by creating these quick results, right? Like, if I asked you, have you had, like, most people can't even answer the first question, right? Are you working towards one goal? They're like, nope. I'm like, all right, pretend you were. Have you been standing for one of those goals? Do you have a strategy that you've stuck to? A simple strategy, and you've just shown up every day for it? Nope. Okay. Well, okay. So how long have you been trying to execute this strategy that you're not actually even consistent with? Has it been years, months, days, or like weeks? But I want results like I've been operating for 3 years, right? How much time every day are they investing in working on that goal? Every day, this whole show up every day for 2 years, right? Because to get full results and maximum growth, you have to show up daily. But people go, well, I'm showing up daily. And again, then we cut back to, but they're doing so many things, right? The key to big results isn't showing up daily and doing something. The key to results is showing up daily and doing the same thing, which is why having the one thing philosophy helps you do that, right? So you gotta let go of the need for the quick win. You can't be frustrated when you aren't seeing results. You can't get irritated when things backslide. You can't get upset about having to sacrifice some things in the short term, right? That's, again, the mindset difference between a CEO, right, and just an employee or a service provider. Right? The CEO sees the big picture. The CEO is looking at strategically. The CEO is looking at the longer vision. The CEO picks a strategy and commits to it, right? An employee is just putting out the services, right? So like, you have to really understand not only what it means and how to be in the CEO mindset, but then how do you know what is in the best interest of your business? So you make decisions from there, and how to like plot all of that out, how to see it, the strategic planning, all of that, right? That is necessary for the growth of your business and the sustainability, right? And that's exactly why I created the Six Figure CEO Mastermind Group, right? So the Six Figure CEO Mastermind Group is a group of 10 women that come together for 6 months, and the whole purpose is to be CEOs coming together to grow their business, to step into the CEO mindset, to make the hard decisions, to simplify so that you can get more, right? And that's hard to do, which is why you need this collective kind of, I really believe you need a community like this to be able to really step into the shoes of the CEO. But how does that happen, right? It happens through group coaching. It happens, like, we have 2 group sessions a month, and then you get a private session with me every month. So you're getting hardcore eyes on the strategy of your business, but you're also getting the collective wisdom of the other 9 members of your group, right? Which we just said, like, could be very powerful, right? When you're getting that advice from somebody who knows your business well. It's like a board of advisors, right? They become your little mini board of advisors because they're with you for 6 months. So they know everything about your business, right? Just like I do, because we're together for 6 months. So you're getting detailed bird's eye strategy from me, but you're getting the collective wisdom of your group members, right? And all of the expertise and experience that they bring to the table. But also you're getting like these little CEO lessons every month where I'm teaching you in a real, tangible, practical way what it means. So how do you do long-term planning? How do you do strategic planning for your specific business, right? This isn't a cookie cutter thing. How do you step into the mindset? How do you know what your profit margin is? How do you like do all of these things, right, that CEOs do? How do you make decisions that are in the best interest of your business and get away from making fear-based decisions or decisions that are in the best interest of you, which may be opposed to what's in the best interest of your business, right? So that's what the Six Figure CEO Mastermind does. And it starts February 3rd. And guys, I only have 3 spots. I'm holding firm that I only have 3. I might have 4, but I'm holding firm that this person's going to continue and go. She's kind of like, you know, whatever. People get scared sometimes. But I'm holding firm. She's in. So I'm going to say 3 spots, right? 3 spots for this CEO Mastermind. And it starts February 3rd. It goes all the way through July. My next round isn't going to be until August. If any of this resonated with you, if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to do all the things and I'm trying to sell all the things and I am still helping all the people, or maybe I have a target market but I'm not focused and I'm not, Rita, I couldn't even say that I was consistent for a week with my strategy. And yes, I know I make scarcity based decisions and I get afraid and I'm making decisions for my personal money situation, and also when I'm tired, and also when this, and I'm not showing up and I don't even really know, and it is scary to cut off all the other things. I don't want to go all in on Facebook because what if they're clients on Twitter, and what if they're clients on Instagram, and what if they're, how do I do that? And Rita, how do you go all in but still have a newsletter? You have a newsletter, Rita. How are you going all in on Facebook but also have a newsletter? What, like, if all of this is like, how do I do this? How can I really do this? how can I run my business like a CEO to get CEO level results instead of just being like a kind of like employee that's kind of half engaged in it and get half engaged results, right? This is a group for you. If you're, and it doesn't matter what stage of business you're in. You might be like trying to get to the first 5K. You might be trying to get to 10K. You might be trying to break in to multiple 6 figures, whatever. You're just trying to break into the next thing. And it requires a new way of thinking. And it requires that collective wisdom of your group, and it requires some strategy, right? And so that's what this group does. Now, I'm going to put the link in below and to the application. Applying for it does not obligate you. In fact, people have told me that just going through the application has given them insight and ideas into their business. And they've been like, Rita, actually, I'm not going to go forward with the mastermind. The last question I had one girl say, this has been great. I'm actually not going to go forward with the mastermind, but this has given me a lot of insight into like how to grow my business. Cool, great. I'm glad. That's awesome, right? So like, I'm going to put the link to the application, right? Work through it. And if this is of interest, and apply. Applying does not obligate you, right? That just gets you a phone call with me to see if it's the right fit. So 6-figure CEO mastermind starts technically February 3rd. That's not the first group session or anything. That's just when everybody starts coming together in the Facebook group. We do a lot of stuff together logistically for the first week, and it really gets underway really quickly, right? With planning documents and with journal prompts and business building activities, but strategy for you, strategy for your business, and expertise and collective community, right? So I'm going to put the link below. Check it out. Applications are due January 26th, guys. That's like soon, right? That's this weekend. Oh my gosh, that's Sunday, guys. Applications are due this Sunday. I'm away this weekend, so I may have to reconsider that. But go ahead and apply. Get your application in because it is first come, first serve. Okay, so it's first come, first serve. So hopefully this has helped you. Jennifer said it's great advice to be consistent as a CEO and take myself out of the solo role. It feels hard to be a solopreneur when it's all on you. Yes, and it's like if you see that it's not just you, you're just wearing multiple hats. You're the CEO and you're this, but like your business is a separate, breathing, living entity that has different needs than you, different wants than you as a person, right? And the CEO role requires a different way of looking at your business than the service provider, right? And you've got to learn, especially as a solopreneur, how to step into those different views and those different roles and when and how to execute it, right? And how to build eventually the team that helps you support it, right? That's what this whole mastermind group does. That's what this whole training was about, right? So hopefully you found this helpful, valuable, to think about it. If you're interested in the mastermind, comment below. If you want to talk to me about it, let me know. I'll hop on the phone with you and see if it's a good fit, right? If you want to talk to me quickly before filling out the application, whatever it is. But I'll put the link to the page so you can go read all of the information. I would love to have you there because this is the kind of stuff we do there. We make the hard decisions. We set the strategy. We sit in discomfort and a lot of discomfort while we're holding firm to our strategy, not bouncing, not leaving, right? We're coming to each other for the support in all kinds of ways, the expertise, the experience, and just the cheerleading and the support, you know, the yaya sisterhood type of support, right? We're doing all of that, right? And I would love to have you be a part of it. So anyway, guys, take care. I'll see you next Wednesday. Well, next Wednesday is not a Wednesday night Facebook Live. Next week, this is a spoiler alert for people watching. Next week, the week of the 27th, I'm actually doing a free 3-part series. And the videos are going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. So you'll see more about that here over the next day. So mark your calendar, 10 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or make sure you register so you get the replay or whatever. If I do a registration page, I may not, but just make sure you watch for them, right? It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So that's what I'm doing next week. So I won't be here at 5 o'clock next week, but I'll be 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 10 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of next week. Okay, guys? All right, take care. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.